as a code.
In their problems, yeah.
There's probably like a code for that, conspiracy theorist.
You can put, delusional. Apparently delusional.
So there is there, when they say in your file, I keep thinking of the Seinfeld episode, is there an ongoing file that follows you everywhere about if you were a complete asshole to a doctor?
I think nowadays you can't really escape. Like, because when I see somebody, I have records from all over the country, no matter where they've been. So there's a good chance if you've been a dick, it's going to follow you.
Really?
Yeah.
People can put in the file, like,
he's a dick.
Total asshole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Fuck this guy.
Well, we find more professional ways to say that, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's a professional way to say total? Like, somebody was like a complete twat in your office. It was just like, yelling at you, screaming, demanding everything faster. Me. What is the technical professional code you would put in?
I mean, there's
fidgety?
Would you say demanding?
Like for diagnosis, or do you mean like how would you put it in your note?
In your notes.
You could describe somebody as like, unreasonable, aggravated from the onset of the interview. Their thought process was not linear and very combative and argumentative. Like there's all sorts of nice, adjectives that
you need to ask my wife that.
Yeah.
She does the charting when she was in the ER. There's so ways much to really
verbally abusive.
People go,
so much quicker to just write in fuckhead.
I did put that in there.
Did you?
I mean, it's usually what's in the back of your head while you're.
Well, I remember when I was going to my dentist, my wife had told him that I was apparently terrified of dentists. I'm not terrified of dentists. I just don't like going to dentists. But and so these people were so super like, okay, are you okay? Are you comfortable? Everything okay? How's this feel? And I'm like,
it's fine. Just get on with it.
Turn it up. And they put in fuckhead in my report.
Checks out.
Man, that would be a great prank if she was like, he only likes grape flavored, like.
Fluoride.
Yeah, exactly. And he just, loaded you up.
I got checks your grape. No, why? Actually, it's peach. I hate peach flavor. Anything peach flavor. All right, here we go. July is finally here. Summertime in France. Waffles were ridden. The Waples sure danced. That was a compliment. All I know is, were I a betting fellow, there's a pretty good chance of a Slovenian in yellow. Welcome to episode 485, 15 away from 500 of the longest standing podcast in the sport of cycling. One and only Packfiller Cycling Podcast. Think of us as a post-ride beer with several friends and one asshole. I'm potentially that asshole. You know me. My name's Pat. And it looks like the gang's all here for our Tour de France preview show. Whoa, my teeth just whistled there. Sorry about everybody whose earbuds just popped out of their head onto the ground. So let's get right to the introductions. As if you don't know, they're already here, as long as some detailed information about their personal lives. Tonight's Scratch Prologue, powered by Scratch Labs Fuel and Hydration, is as follows. Gentlemen, what's your stance on fireworks? Do you like them? Do you like lighting them? Do you hate them? Do you have an overwhelming fear like you're a Labrador retriever? Anything like that. So here we go. First off, he's as American as baseball, Mr. Paul Main. How are you, man?
I love baseball.
That's why I picked that.
I like that.
We're all American as something tonight.
Yeah.
So you're American as baseball.
Oh, wow.
There we go. How are you, man?
Good.
What's your stance on fireworks?
When I was a little kid, I absolutely loved them. But that's when we used to be able to purchase them.
Yeah.
But I could care less right now. But when I was a little kid, my mom would give us a certain amount of money to buy our own, and I would buy Piccolo Pete's or Whistler Pete's.
Yes.
But that's not what I used them for.
Oh.
Because I found out they're explosives. So I pinched one, and it blew up. So then I would buy Piccolo Pete's and then empty them all out, the powder, and make a giant bomb to blow up anthills and stuff like that. Yeah.
Random things.
Nice. Yeah. I lost my eyebrows once.
That is perfect childhood.
That's why they're...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why they're thinly trimmed.
So wispy.
You pencil them in. That's why you do that.
Yeah.
Next off, he's American as apple pie. And I'm saying this is a joke because I read an email today that your name is now Sam Wapples. Wapples.
I hate that.
So you're Wapple
Yeah,
Pie.
like there was the local group thing that had that. That's my name forever, and I was like, I probably drained an hour of my life trying to fix that. I don't know why that annoys
Wapples.
me. Yeah, Wapples. Yeah.
You don't get that. Well, people don't call you by your last name.
No, because nobody knows my last name.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Where?
At the clinic. Everybody, because my initials are STM.
Sam the man.
Yep.
Oh my God.
That's a long story, but yeah. So everybody asks, and like they'll see David, and I'm like, oh, you saw my brother. They're like, well, what's your last name? And I'm like, well, Waples. They're like computing that STM. Where do you get the W? I'm like, it's Sam the man. It is.
Drop the W.
Yeah. Drop the W.
Philosophy and take on fireworks.
I don't like them. I actually I would go as far as to say that I've never really liked them. Like maybe when we were kids and playing with like pop rocks and stuff was fun. But like our cousin used to always light off a bunch of fireworks and blew off the dock one year.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know, you remember
God.
that? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just literally like he lit off a bomb, an M80, M800, M8000 bomb, and
Blew up a dock.
Blew up the end of the dock. So it's just one of those things where it's like I just never saw the point, like the waste of money, and it's kind of like I just never whatever.
Okay. Next off, this introduction has nothing to do with you personally, but he's as American as a failing medical system.
Wow, that's
It's not you. It's just that our medical
you're a
system
part of.
kind of sucks ass in this country. But you're the one guiding beacon of hope in the failing medical system.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking it as the non-insult that it truly was intended to be.
Wow, can't be mad at the truth.
How are you, man?
So doing well. Yeah, doing quite well.
I'm going to get into this later, but you guys are gods.
He is a god.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah. What's your fireworks stance, David?
I like them less and less. I feel like I'm getting like sound sensitivity as I get older.
Oh,
I just want everybody
Ask him about the road next to his house.
Yeah, remodeled my entire house to block out noise. It's just like it is. I don't love the noise of it, but I do think they're special and pretty. Especially like if you guys have ever flown on the 4th of July, it's pretty cool going over big city.
Yeah.
And you just see like all the fireworks below. But so from afar, I like watching them, but I don't like the noise anymore.
No, I get it. Next, he's as American as overdoing camping trips, Mr. Jackson Mulder. You are getting into this stuff, man, and I am seeing some camping paraphernalia that is going to be next level.
Yeah, I really do love it. I don't know what it is. It just kind of clicked for me this year. I got into it a little last year, but this year's another level.
Next level.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it. Jackson Bulger, how are you, man?
Doing well, thanks.
Talk to me about fireworks.
I'm a fan. I like
You
fireworks.
are?
Yeah.
Okay. Lighting?
I don't know. I haven't lit fireworks in a really long time.
Yeah.
I do like watching. I love the 4th of July, honestly.
Do you?
Yeah, I always have.
Would you spend money on them though? You don't strike me as a person who would spend money on it. If I gave you $100,
Would I go do it?
yeah, would you
$100
go?
isn't shit anymore, though.
That's
No.
what my point
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
it doesn't get you any fireworks.
Yeah. My brother-in-law spent $500 on it.
Yeah, our
Yeah.
cousin used to spend $15,000.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
my God.
wild.
There was one year I remember I thought we went all out and we were at friends' place on the lake in North Idaho, and we spent like $400, and we were finished in like 18 minutes, and the people across the lake were nonstop for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And after a while, you just sat in the lawn chair and just watched their shit go.
That's
I'm
what's
like, let's
fun,
just send them $200 next year and
Yeah.
have them get more.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I mean, if you're to give me money, I'm honestly probably gonna find someone who knows more
Yeah.
about it than I do and
Yeah.
take them with me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I go buy some tubulars.
I was gonna say, put
That's
it in,
my point. Is I'm gonna buy something. Yeah,
and
put
let
it in a
somebody else on
Roth.
top. Yeah, put it in a Roth. Me, I'm as American as an obesity epidemic. I'm Pat Bulger.
I'm not sure I'm following any of these. To be honest.
I don't know.
These are all,
I like my
these are
baseball
all,
one.
These are all traits of America.
Yeah.
These are all classic American traits.
Apple pie, I get it.
Play baseball, eat apple pie.
Failing medical system.
Can't afford our got to fundraise to stay alive. Camping, we like to buy toys and shit, and we're all fat.
Fair. Okay.
yeah.
Present company exclusive,
Keeps me
of
in
course.
business.
Yes.
Oh my god.
My philosophy on fireworks is I used to love lighting off them as a kid. and this is going to sound absolutely so bizarre, but we had a lake house, and these people that the kids I hung out with all summer had, just hold on when I say this, they had a helicopter pad.
Whoa.
I shit you not. They actually had a concrete helicopter pad out on the sticking out of the lake. I never saw a helicopter on it, but we would light off fireworks from that because it's this huge concrete slab. There's no trees or anything like that. So the worms, just the little tablets, snakes, Piccolo Pete's, all that kind of stuff. The ground bloom flowers, throwing them into the lake. How much pollution did we create throwing these things? And they just go boom, 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 under the water, and then they sink, kill fish, and stuff like that. But then, as an adult, one year. You were there, Jackson, where I was in charge of lighting off the fireworks. So we went out to the Indian reservation. We got a whole bunch of good fireworks and stuff like that. And the second thing we lit off, it went a mortar into the air, and it drifted back into these trees. And they were huge, tall, old pine trees, and they actually lit. And so we were trying with her garden hose to stop a forest fire. And fortunately, we got it out. But I sat down after that and said, I am never lighting another firework for the remainder of my days.
Wow.
And now I don't. I guess I'm okay watching them, but I'm almost like maybe that just traumatized me so much that I'm just like, no, I can't do it anymore.
Think about the generational trauma that you gave to all those fish too. They're just throwing fireworks into their home.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh God,
fish will
especially
never
when they're
taste the
floating
same.
on the top. It was really bizarre.
Yeah.
Weird behavior.
Dealing with their stress by floating.
Yeah.
Upside down. Only could be explained by PTSD.
Yeah.
Okay, we got through that. Gentlemen, it is that time again, the time where cycling almost becomes a truly global sport. All to the dulcet tones of Bob Rolls saying the word Christian minimum of 32 times every broadcast hour. I think he's contracted to do that. Who is excited about this year's tour? Honestly, genuinely excited about this year's tour. I got Waples boys put their hands in the air.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
I'm excited because it's a bike race, but it doesn't really get me
really
not
like the classics.
The classics that's when I'm like totally.
So is that in general or just to this tour in particular?
In general.
Okay.
Yep.
Who thinks they've got a chance at the fantasy game this year?
No.
Jackson, you always kick ass at this. You always do really well at this.
I do all right. I think I've got a good shot at being like top 5.
Okay. Okay. Of top 5 of this group?
Well, of like the people that join us.
Yeah. Say okay.
Because there's always one that's like way
Brent.
above.
Yeah, Brent. Yeah, he knows his shit.
Yeah.
Before we get to all that, we need to catch up on everybody's cycling life. And this past week was a busy one. First off, we had a Wednesday night mountain bike series. Ended with David representing by ensuring no kid won the overall.
True, but he did beat me again.
How does it feel?
Did he?
He did?
I thought I had him this time, you guys. I came around the corner. I had him kind of like Jackson had Dave in the sprint. And I got so excited, I shifted down like 5 or 6 gears, and then bam, I had nothing for the sprint because I was way too high of a gear, and he cropped me at the line by like half a wheel. So fucking close.
Wow. I was going to ask how it feels to crush a child's dream, but I guess the child crushed your dream.
He still crushed my dreams. Yeah.
Wow. I was joking with David in that race that he's up there battling, 14-year-old. How old is he?
He's 14.
And I'm battling like
his
10-year-old
sister.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like these kids are so fast.
What's in these kids' Wheaties?
I don't know. Like
Holy
we're
shit.
getting our asses handed to us by a bunch of these juniors. Wow. You know what? I did not let those 10-year-olds win though.
Good for you.
Yeah, I beat them.
I could.
But I did lose also to those guys.
But you ended up overall series winner.
Yeah.
You've won a lot of series. You won the cyclocross series last time they did that.
Mm-hmm.
You won this. Did you win how'd you do in last year's Wednesday night?
Not as well. I couldn't attend every single one, and I think I was really getting into mountain bike racing last year. I didn't have
You had a hardtail.
Yeah, I had a hardtail all mountain bike. It just wasn't the right setup.
Do you equate your mountain bike skills to just straight raw power and strength, or do you finesse the technical parts pretty well?
I think it's a little of both.
Really?
Like I do, so it's interesting racing this 14-year-old who's really skilled on like the, windy, wavy stuff where you have to like finesse through corners because the traction's light.
Yeah.
He was faster, but rock gardens, I was faster. Flats, I'm faster.
Wow.
For sure. So I think it's a combination of, both. But I wouldn't say I'm like exceptional as a mountain biker.
But you started in mountain biking. You
I
got a mountain bike very early on.
Yeah,
down in California.
Yeah, I got into it. Within like a year of starting road biking.
Okay. I think, I agree with you. That kind of twisty finesse single track stuff, I suck ass at.
Yeah.
I'm never very good at. The people just ride away from me. Not like, I'm holding on to the brakes, but they, every turn they gain a little bit of a half a second or something like that. And
I've learned so much this year by just like following people and seeing like the lines that they choose. Like we're following, KBP is a local legend, is on a mountain bike, competes at national level events, and I was following him in that last race, and he was lowering his dropper post through like rock gardens and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never thought to do that, but it's just like, it was only like, let's say like 2 centimeters, but then he's like floating over everything. So then I started doing that. I'm like, oh my God, you can go so much faster.
Yeah.
There's just like, there's so many of these techniques that these high level,
That's what
riders
I need
do.
I need to work with some of those kind of people.
It's crazy.
Especially to figure that shit out.
It is kind of fun to learn a new thing, and I think it does make everything else better, like bike handling.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last of our weekly road series ended on Thursday with everyone present, even Jack.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That was cool.
I mean,
We're the biggest squad.
I haven't seen that many Arrivee jerseys since the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It was a beautiful thing to behold. Jackson, you took a podium spot on the overall, as well as multiple top finishes in the series. How would you rank the series out this year?
Pretty well. I think that I was second best all the time.
Yeah.
But I think that I improved a lot this year, so I was pretty happy with how things went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I would toot his horn more with the sense of like, if you look at like last year to this year, like your sustained power, like you were able to get into moves. And like there was multiple races where there was like a break up there that you made it up into. Mm-hmm. Whereas like last year you were a pure just sprinter at the end of the line, right? Like this year you were making it into moves and then you still sprinted. Like that's more than just what the places show for like improvement.
He did have the one race last year where he won in a break.
No, yeah, totally.
Yeah. But I think that was also one of those moments where it was like I wasn't going to attack the group ever, Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think, first of all, thank you. That was very nice of you. I appreciate that.
Sam said something nice. Everybody put that in your brain.
I'll say nice things whenever you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I get that mixed up. My bad.
I was talking about it at the end of Thursday's race, and I was like, damn, like I could have had it, yada, yada, yada. And then my wife looked at me and she said, yeah, but you're also doing more than just waiting in for the sprint.
Yeah,
like,
that's my point.
Yeah. So
that's huge.
Puts it into perspective. Yeah.
That's so big. That's so cool.
So we are, what? Okay, so 2 people, 4 knees. We are 4 swings of a baseball bat away from Jackson winning the overall series of the road and David really crushing it in the Wednesday night series. I'm talking, what's her name? The figure skater, Nancy Kerrigan, who had somebody just totally
whack the knee,
go out onto the ice and smack the knees. So if somebody were to find a baseball bat, Galula. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I don't think I'll feel complete.
Then we'll be Team Galula.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to feel complete until I beat him, though.
Yeah.
You'd beat him.
Not with the bat.
He'd be in the hospital. Hey.
I feel the same way, though. It's like I don't know if it would really truly. I would count. Okay, it would count.
I don't want. Counts, but it's not like
it's not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you want now is you want to beat Dave. What I want now is I want to beat Isaac.
Isaac is
14-year-old.
The freaking 14-year-old.
He's only getting older and faster. And I'm only getting older and slower.
That's the thing. Speaking of Sam praising and providing kudos, Sam, would you like to say anything about last Thursday and how everything went down with your relationship with your brother? It's been forgiven.
This Sunday was different.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, you really moved past that.
I did.
Okay, so we did. If you were going to put a comment, some notes about David in his chart, what would have been your comments on Thursday?
I heard him.
Yeah. I think that my notes would have been like dumbass or something along those lines.
Intellectual disability.
Yeah.
Tactically challenged.
And then I thought about it more, and I'm like, you can't get mad at the dog that pees inside. It's like it doesn't know any better. Like it's not trained. And it's like it saw a squirrel and it wanted to go for it. And so, yeah.
Well, you know what? Regardless of whatever happened, Sam and I both had 30-minute power records that day.
Yes.
You did.
Which just goes to show.
For the second week in a row.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a very
Is that
hard...
all on Strava? Is that where you guys find these things?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't
that was a hard race. It was just like it was just a series of unfortunate events.
I did throw up directly after the.
In a porta potty.
Yeah.
Good for
Yeah.
Good for you.
I
don't
was
think
like,
we're supposed to encourage that.
No, I do.
I think it's great.
I condone that.
I finished. I finished. I went up next to Dave. I held out my hand, and he slapped it super hard, and was like, "Good job. You almost had it. Yada yada." And I was like, "Thanks." And then we all just rolled in, set the bike down, went right up to the porta potty. There was a guy standing in the tower. He goes, "You good?" I went, "Yep."
About to be.
Yep.
I just let it happen. I came out, and he goes, "You good?" And I went, "Am now." So.
That's impressive.
That was a tough moment.
Oh my God.
You dug deep.
Puking is one thing, but puking in a porta potty. But I would have a feeling that porta potty wasn't really heavily used, so you were probably fine. It's not like it was crowning or something like that.
No, I've done that. I've done that maybe twice.
Oh no!
It was. It sucked,
Wow.
but it was worth it. Apparently.
Yeah.
That was a hard race.
Paul, you got your racing legs out. You stretched them out that day. How'd it go?
I didn't. I left them at home. They weren't there. No, I've got a long road ahead of me still. So, but it didn't matter. I was out there. Had fun.
Yeah.
Lasted 2 laps.
God, I just I was doing all the best I could to hold on and everything like that.
But I wasn't going to get
impressive.
lapped, and then with a lap and a half to go to the end, I got caught.
Was it David?
It was the lead group.
Yeah.
How many were in there?
It
You,
whittled down
Roger.
fast.
There was 8 or something.
Yeah.
7 after I left.
After
You left.
Willingly.
I
Willingly on the
After I left.
Okay,
out the
see you guys
back.
later.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, kudos to our promoters of both of our series, Badlands Cycling Club and Gino and Eric and Adam, these local guys, for making these local races happen. I gotta praise those. The Twilight Series was great. I think their numbers were bigger. I hope their numbers were bigger.
I think so.
There was a cool showing of a lot of brand new riders at that last
Absolutely.
race, and I think that's something that really, really, really should be encouraged. Just trying to grab, and recruit people, get into. It's a great, safe course, which would be, no major 90-degree turns. Well, kinda, but not really.
You
that
can
you-
pedal through all those.
Yeah, that you really have to worry about, and it seems like a great place to learn.
One guy drove
that.
from Seattle.
Really?
And I was like, it was one of his first races, I think, and it was a great race. I think it's a long drive, but he drove from Seattle just for a Thursday night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do, and I this isn't meant as a complaint. This is meant as constructive criticism, but I do think the categories need to be reevaluated just in terms of how A, B's, and C's are established. Yeah. Paul, you and I are kind of in this no man's land between the A's and the B's, and I love the speed of the A's, but I love to also be engaged in the race as an A. And with B's, I could do that. I could be at the front and stuff like that. But then you've got, A's who are just bored and come down and kick your teeth again, or you've got B's who are brand new to the sport and are scary and a little squirrely and stuff like that. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to reevaluate that, just see how that goes. That's my only constructive criticism. It's not a complaint. Jesus, because I know what it's like to put on a race, and if you don't like it, just stay the fuck home.
Yeah, they do a great job.
And
Yeah.
they plan on making it long, more races next
Really?
year and stuff. Yeah. There was an email that came out. So more money, longer season, blah, blah, blah. So
I, again, will buy a season pass.
My God, yeah.
100%.
It's one of those things, like, if that went through August, like, in just every other week, like, that'd be so cool.
It would.
It's just, like, we were riding home, we were all talking about how this is just a great opportunity for us to just, like, open up the throttle and just try to kick everybody's teeth. It's awesome practice.
Yeah.
I wish they'd give up April. Just go May, June, July, and August.
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be cool.
April's
with
just a
I'd
little
even
bit
take
too
May,
early.
June, July.
Yeah.
that. Me too.
Just May, June, July would be fine with me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. 3 of us went to Montana this past weekend for the final stop of the Belgian Waffle Ride series of races.
Is that the last one?
It was the last. It was the
Okay.
finale. Interesting scheduling. I found that because it coincided exact dates with Steamboat Gravel. Yeah. So you would think, these high-end gravel / what type of events, I found it odd. We didn't have the truly high, we had some really class riders there, but the elite of the elite weren't a whole lot there, and it was kind of sad to see. I wanted to
lose to Keegan.
I wanted to lose to Keegan. I wanted to lose to Vegan Cyclist. I wanted to go up to him and go, bro, and shake his hand.
Dude, bro.
We do have to get to this little race called the Tour de France, but I do want to have some fun talking about this past weekend. I know a lot of listeners have been asking me to talk about this past weekend. So let's start with the ongoing trials and tribulations of the Michelle Bulger Travel Agency.
Okay. You're just going to start by rolling her under the bus?
No, I'm not rolling her under the bus. My wife is completely innocent in every single phase of this. And
in this one.
In this one, the white tiger, maybe not so much.
Yeah. I figured out the ratings like that night.
Whoa, wait. Was the white tiger booked by Michelle?
Yes. She booked. She didn't book your guys' room.
Yeah.
She said, "This is where we are staying. It's a good hotel. We're going to stay there." Yeah.
And we
continue,
sheep.
Please. This is getting
you guys all followed, and you guys had
and we brought
human body
along
chalk
that
outlines on the ground.
And who picked the Wenatchee Hotel? Who did that? Oh, Sam did. It was Sam.
Mm-hmm. That was fine. That was a good hotel.
Nice up to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a good hotel. Yeah. I had a nice.
No, I wasn't complaining about the Wenatchee.
Okay.
Oh, I was saying good job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is your mother we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is your mother. Back up.
I'm fine with it. She knows.
She does. And I actually offered her up. There is a mic over there. I said, "Honey, do you want to come down and talk about this?" And she says, "Nope, I'm good. I think we're fine." she just crossed her arms and tapped her feet on the ground. Booked the place a long time ago. To paint the picture, we had a VRBO planned in Bozeman, Montana. It was my wife's cousin. Mm-hmm. She owns the home. She has it going through a property management company, to run it as a VRBO because they don't live in the town anymore. And from personal perspective, it's a 5+ hour drive from Spokane there. We left here. I don't know what time you guys left. We left around 3 or 4 o'clock, I think, in the afternoon.
5-ish.
Yeah, 5-ish. And rolled in close to about, doing the math, it was about 11 o'clock when we rolled in. We had 2 dogs in the car. We rolled in. We found our way to the house. We get to the house. There's a car in the driveway. And we're like, "Is this the right house?" I think so. Okay, yeah. My wife gets out of the car. She goes up. She knocks on the door, and a dog is barking. So our dog is barking in the car. I'm exhausted, sitting in the car, and this dude opens the door, and he's standing there in his PJs, and I see a kid running around in the background. And his wife's kind of poking his head out. And I'm going, "What the fuck? This isn't the right house." She stands there in the doorway talking to them, looking at her phone, talking for about 2 minutes, and then goes into the house and they close the door. And I'm like going, "Oh shit, did my wife just get abducted or is something really seriously going wrong here?" And then I immediately went, and this was a horrible husbandry thing to do, but I went,
"Run?"
My wife fucked up the dates. She got the wrong dates. She had to have gotten the wrong fucking dates. And these people are staying in this house.
Which is immediately what you told us.
Yeah. I'm texting you guys while she's in the house.
So I'm getting shit for throwing her under the bus, but you did it right away.
I'm telling the story. Okay. I'm gonna admit the error of my ways as it proceeded. Right. It turns out that the people in the house had booked it. They had booked the house for that night. My wife looked at me and she says, "Apparently I got the wrong dates. I have Saturday night and Sunday night," or something like that. And I'm like, "Okay, shit." And so I immediately get on the horn and text you guys. Sam wasn't answering his text. David, I texted you. You didn't answer. Shocker. And then I called you and you were like, "Hey." And I went, "Hey, I got news." And I told you the news. And I heard Sam in the background just go, just, you were laughing, and I'm like going, They hate us. They fucking hate us. They hate us with the fire of a million suns. They hate us. We're just old idiots now. We have reached that phase. We're the old senile fucks. And I'm like, okay, we're all going to have to get a hotel for tonight. We have the house for tomorrow night. And not knowing that, like, apparently there was like a gun show and a rodeo. I mean, it is Montana. I mean, but every freaking hotel was solidly booked.
Yes.
You guys found
Come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in.
Hang on, just real quick. I think it's worth mentioning, prior to finding the come on in last room available, we were about to go through Butte, and I was just looking at. I was like, let's just get the next hotel we can. It's late. It's like 11 for us. We'll just take the next hotel. Butte's completely booked out. We called like maybe 7 or 8 places, except for one queen bed at the Red Lion. I think White Tiger. I kid you not. We stopped. We thought about it for like 2 seconds. We're like, maybe if there was 2 beds, but hell no, keep going. Like we'll find something in Butte. So I thought
you
that
guys
was
found
comical.
one in Bozeman at the Come On In. How were your accommodations?
It was great. Phenomenal. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
No shit.
It was a
Great
hotel,
place.
My wife and I had a little different tale. We ended up with 2 dogs. We had to find a dog-friendly hotel, and the only room available in the city was a suite. It was the last room in the hotel, and it was a suite. So, in other words, we were booking a suite, and we were going to stay there for like 11 hours tops. You know, if we slept in. We spent $477 for a night's sleep. That really kind of bummed me out. And then my wife, I do have to say, my wife, she was sitting in the car going, I just want to get an Uber and go home. She says, I am so embarrassed. I am so miserable. I hate myself. And I was mad at her. So I just was like, okay, you enjoy that because this is all your fault. And you know what? I was wrong. It wasn't her fault.
Yes.
The property management company misbooked us. They had a booking the night before and the booking the night after us, but we paid for 2 nights.
They double booked.
Somebody screwed us up. Yeah. And so we were supposed to have Friday and Saturday. She had text proof. She had a paper trail. And it turned out that we just got fucked.
Yeah. You know what the best part of the whole story was, though?
What?
Is that, like, I had texted at the beginning of all of this saying, is it weird that I feel a little insecure about this trip with, Pat?
You were just ball busting.
I was just ball busting. And then that's why I was
my God.
dying laughing. Because I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. It's coming true.
So bad.
We're going to be at the White Lion.
It was so bad. The White Tiger. The White Lion. Let's
the cat's out of
it.
the
It's the Red Lion.
It's the Red Lion.
That's what we're talking about. The company did try to make it good. They gave us early check-in, 2 hours early, at 2:00 the next day instead of 4:00. By the way, nothing better the day before a race than to go find something to do with yourself until 2:00 the next afternoon. And they gave us a late checkout. They gave us 1 hour later.
No shit. No refund.
They're going to. Michelle is in the process of getting the refund done. So we're going to get that second night refunded, and when you guys will get some money back. But we did get into the house. We did get a proper night's sleep. Although David had an experience with an earwig.
Oh God, yeah. No, we did not have a proper night's sleep. There's
a jet going on next to it.
Danielle and I reflected on that. We got into bed Sunday night, and we just both sighed, and we were like, "Oh my God, that was one of the worst nights of sleep."
Why?
Because
the earwigs or the AC units?
It was hot. We should have turned the AC on sooner, so we couldn't fall asleep. That unit was remarkably loud. Like I used to sleep with a window unit. That one was remarkably loud, and then I woke up with an earwig crawling on me. He didn't get into my ear, but he was all over me. And, it was one of those nights of sleep where I didn't feel like I ever actually fell asleep the whole night.
And yet the next day.
The next day, you guys rode the elite men category.
Good choice.
Good choice.
What did you guys expect going in?
To get my teeth knocked in.
Okay.
I did not expect the chaos. I expected just a fun. I thought there'd be a little bit of shuffling at the beginning, and then for whatever, and then you'll get into like some sort of climb or something, it'll spread out and it'll be fine. It was hectic. That
really?
was, yes. And I actually, a little bit of beef with the way they like to run this. Not cool. Like, not to start that many people.
Super dangerous.
Different categories. I mean, we had people flying up on the wrong side of the road, completely ignoring.
Open roads.
Yeah, completely ignoring the fact that there's a center line rule, trying to pass. Like, it's one thing if you have to move out for a second to avoid something, but they're passing in the oncoming traffic. It's just, to me, I'm like, some of those people aren't even in the same race. They're doing the shorter distance.
Yes, I ran into that a lot back where I was too.
Yeah.
Not cool.
Yeah.
Like, there was crashes where we were at.
There were.
Yeah, there was crashes on the gravel. I mean, it was just, that was one of the most uncomfortable race experiences I've ever had for the first 10 miles.
Did you guys probably didn't, but the shortest distance event, we got to a point where we were going straight, and the shortest distance event was taking a right turn, and these people are on the outside of the field, and then it just started turning. And that's where I heard a lot of brakes screeching and stuff like that. It was just like, what the fuck? And people didn't see the sign till the last second, and so they're turning across the entire field.
I do blame the promoters a little bit for this, because they've done this enough, but they were at the very beginning, they were saying like, hey, this is not the tour. We do not have open roads. We are abiding.
They did say this. Yeah.
They were very clear on all that, but I think that the only way there's no real enforcement, and I think that the only way that you can really mitigate that is by a rolling start. Like, you roll off the elite crowd, and then like a minute later you roll off the next. And it's just you kind of start to slowly spread it out.
Yeah. Or you DQ people.
Yeah.
So they know it's for real.
Yeah, because like that was
there's no marshals, so
there are no marshals.
It was truly horrifying.
You had cameras,
and we there was like the big, just huge dust cloud when we hit the first gravel section, because everybody was everywhere, and it was like you didn't know until you heard screeching and you saw a body like 5 feet in front of you going 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like, David thought I probably had died because I skirted off into the grass at one point.
Yeah.
You
guys had a good day.
David did, yes.
Well, you held
I
his
survived,
wheel.
yeah.
So was this, now tell me about your efforts. Was this like balls to the wall from the gun, or what, did you tempo this? Did you pace this? Was it ridden like a road race? What was the?
I think I had, part of the reason I had such good legs is because when things really started picking up, I mean, I watched that front group on the first gravel climb just kind of creep away, but I was also the whole time looking back, waiting for my horse, thinking, why is there the giddy up? Where's the giddy up in my horse? He's got a little gimp in his gallop. And waiting. And so I'm like, I paced myself up the first gravel climb. And then, we'd come back together and I'd try to like close gaps and everything, and then pace up the next climb. And so I think I paced pretty well, because, there's no sense in like pushing Sam to the absolute limit up a climb to only have like, you're going to blow up after that. Trying to stay with these guys are insanely fast.
Yeah.
And we could have done it for probably 2 of the climbs and then absolutely imploded. One of us. And so, I mean, we were just very steady the whole time. I mean, we never really went into the red. That was like probably my best 4-hour power ever. I mean, NP was like 260 for 4 hours.
Wow.
So it was
insane.
Yeah.
Like, and I think I was just more of like 3 nights of not good sleep for me was accumulating. And so it was just like, I was going into it, I was like, this is going to really hurt. But I mean, I'm stoked. Like, it went together pretty well. Like, for being, a 190-pound guy going up, 8,000 feet of vert, like, and being at elevation, I think it's as good as it could be. Although, like, those climbs, as you can agree, are not, like, they weren't anything crazy steep. It was all very
the last half of the race, the last third of the race was the steepest climbs.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun overall, but it was like being behind a moped the whole day. It was like, David, I'm like, is he just going to keep doing this?
Yeah.
And he just like, I would see a group up there and I'm like, wow, they're always up there. And then all of a sudden we'd be in that group and I'm like, oh my God, okay, we're here now. And it was like the whole day I'm just trying to like focus on like sucking down as many gels and as much, fluid as I can. Just
25th and 26th. In the elite men, guys. Yeah. That actually is a pretty goddamn good finish. That's a really goddamn good finish.
Yeah.
I personally took the steady approach. I I don't know. I guess I was so concerned about the distance and the amount of effort required that I kept everything kind of in the. Thank you, Paul. In the, just okay, good, take it easy, keep going, ride hard, but take it easy. I kind of did almost like a time trial pace the entire time, and because of that, I found myself predominantly by myself. I did not get the benefit of riding in a group for probably, except for maybe 7 or 8 of the 111 miles.
I think,
and that sucked. That hurt my chances.
Yeah. That's probably because you're just catching imploded riders too.
I was just catching people
because
and
you
then
did
riding
a good
with
job
them for a little
pacing.
bit, and then moving to the next group, and then riding with them for a little bit, and then we'd hit a climb or go to a feed stop, and I'd grab stuff and go, and then I'd never see them again. That being said, there were a couple of guys who caught me, and I rode with them for a while, and then they left me behind. Especially towards the tail end. And it's always Canadians, and they're so goddamn nice, except their math. I was just like, they're talking K's and meters and all this kind of shit, and I'm just like, oh, fuck. Speak American. I'm joking.
Speak American.
But no, I wish we would have switched to metric because we could have got, he's asking me about what I said I did San Diego in the past. He says, was that still blankety blank K back in the day? And I'm like, I don't know. It was 131 miles back in the day.
I had a similar experience like that at Bloom.
Did you?
When I flatted, I was like, oh yeah, like we did this amount of miles per hour. And he's like, what's that in kilometers?
Yeah. Shit.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So I feel pretty well. Everything went pretty good. I tried to pound one of those gel. What was the gel sponsor?
Never second.
Okay, thank you, Paul. God, that's like picturesque.
So you had one.
No, I had like 4 of theirs.
I also had like 5 or 6 of theirs.
And I had 2 or 3 scratch, and I had 2 or 3 untapped, and I had 2 bottles that were 500 calories each. And I drank some of their electrolyte stuff. So
Wow.
I
did good.
I did okay. I do have a beef with the BWR people, and I was talking to Jackson about this before we went on air, and I promise we're going to get to the tour next. They like to just slap you in the fucking face with like 10 miles to go. They just like going, hey, I hope you had a wonderful ride. Suck it! Just bap, 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 bap. And they're like, oh, there's going to be a single track section, quote
Buttery
unquote.
smooth.
Fun and flowy.
It was kind of fun and flowy on a mountain bike.
Yes.
And when you've been in the saddle for so many hours, 6 hours already, and then your wrists are just completely freezing up, it's just like, you dicks.
I was thinking of Paul. I was like, yeah, fuck this. I was like, this is stupid. It was a beautiful course until then.
Yeah. I audibly said, fuck, about 5 times.
Yeah.
Just to myself. There was nobody near me, but I said it out loud because I was angry.
Yeah.
And it hurt. It hurt bad.
Mm-hmm.
I watched. There was actually the BWR people put out a video, and I watched it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you didn't go there for the scenery.
Oh my God, it was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
There's like no trees.
Yeah,
but you're
green,
out
beautiful.
the
exposed.
valley and everything was huge.
That's not my. Like Northern Scotland. When I look at that stuff, is like
This was beautiful. I'm going to tell you that it was. They call it Big Sky Country for a reason because it is just vast amounts of valley stretching out. It was
stunning.
It was beautiful.
It was
not in my. And I watched the whole stupid thing. That was pretty.
Regrettably.
And I did see Sam in it on the early sections. There's a picture of Sam in the group.
Oh, did you look
wow.
did you look in
I didn't
front of
see
him?
you.
Did you look in
No.
front of
Did
him?
you look in front of
Yeah,
him?
he was too far in front of me.
But I do want to shout out that other gravel race that went on at that time was Steamboat.
Yeah.
And Stu Felk, my buddy that I go down and see on the desert, got second place in his age group
Amazing.
there. Yeah. And he won it last year, so the guy's
There we
It's impressive.
and he was wearing the colors, man.
He was.
good to see.
Absolutely good to see.
So
I don't think
good on you, Stu.
I don't have my French music. I can't believe I didn't get my fucking French music for the Tour de France. Well, we're just going to give it a heroic incident as we start. We switch gears to talk about what John Tesh once referred to as the Super Bowl of cycling. It is the 2025 Tour de France. Some quick statistics. 100% French this year. They are not veering off into another country this year. It is a true Tour de France. It has not happened since 2020. It will visit 11 regions, 34 departments, 21 stages, 7 flat, 6 hilly, 6 mountain with 5 mountain finishes, 2 time trials, 2 rest days, obviously. New stage towns from a total of 39. 8 towns will be joining the Tour Club. Mountains, 112th edition this year, featuring climb summits of Massif Central, Pyrenees, Alps, and the Jura. Col de la Loze is the highest point of the 2025 Tour. First time the climb will be tackled on its eastern flank from Courchevel. 39 years ago was the first time they did it. In 1986, that was the time. A certain American won the Tour that year by the name of Greg LeMond. Total vertical gain will be 52,500 meters. If you're Canadian, you know what that means. If you're me, you don't have dick. Time trials, 5th stage is going to provide terrain routes for people who specialize in solo efforts. Terrain gradients quite different on stage 13, 11K TT, which is just the climb, right, Paul?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a category 1 from the bottom to the top.
Oh,
K.
doggies.
Wait, what is this?
That's stage 13.
Yeah, you guys do have that little color graphic in front of you that might help out a little bit. 184 riders representing 23 teams line up for the start on the 5th of July. So with all that being said, I asked you guys earlier, how excited you guys are. Are we expecting or hoping any surprises this year in terms of what is going on? You guys, by the way, do have shared copies of the stage-by-stage profiles, and we have our cheat sheets here in front of us. Is anybody expecting any major surprises this year?
No, not really.
Roglic will actually win. I just thought I'd throw it out there.
I like that.
Spin. Yeah, I mean he's got to go all out as long as he doesn't bounce off the pavement. But yeah,
you know what? That gives
because
me
he doesn't have dick to follow.
He doesn't.
Or it's between, in my opinion, Vendigo and Pogacar. Everybody is going to be watching them. He's notorious for just sitting, and sprinting around towards the end.
He does well.
If things go well, he could actually be, the outlier on that one.
See, that gives me something to look forward to now.
I think.
Wait, you think Roglic?
Yeah.
I think Remco would be the winner there.
Oh, no. He'll crack.
I think rather than Remco, it's going to be Lipovic.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be the one that's going to be better.
That's a good. He's going to at least. I think he'll finish ahead of Remco on that. I think the exciting part for me about this tour is what is Visma Lisa Bike going to do for strategy, because that's the only way they're going to dislodge Pogacar. But their focus is on Pogacar.
Yeah.
So that's where people like, maybe Roglic or something can just bounce off of that.
So nobody's seeing anything outside of the big four?
No.
The Tadej, Jonas, Remco, and Primoz?
No.
Nobody's seeing anything outside of that. There's not going to be any dark horses that suddenly rises to the fur.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Okay. How about Green Jersey? Is Milan the man, or do we see somebody else who could potentially?
It's pretty bumpy. There's not too many.
It is bumpy.
There's not too many really flat, stages for that, and then the intermediates. I think it could be possibly another Wout Green Jersey thing.
Yeah, 7 there. By the way, Wout missed his Belgian national championships this past weekend due to illness, quote unquote illness. Yeah, Paul, you're going quote unquote.
Yeah, because it is mandatory if you're a pro, you must do your national championship in Belgium, unless there's an excuse.
Ah.
So the tour's coming up.
Mom, I don't feel good.
I don't know if that's true, but
can I stay home and eat cereal and watch Price is Right?
He could have been sick, but
yeah.
I'm just saying that
okay.
it makes you wonder a little bit.
Okay.
You want to roll the dice in the Belgian national championship, crash out, and then screw up Bendigo's chance.
I get it.
That was with my tin foil hat on.
I think there's a guy in there, though, that showed a little bit of his cards at the Dauphiné, and I think it's Mathieu van der Poel.
I was going to say, Mathieu van der Poel. And you know what? Filippo Ganna, as much as I'm not a huge fan, the guy has the potential of, being a Green Jersey winner. Why wouldn't he?
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does. He could be consistent throughout.
Not in sprints.
No, but it's not like Peter Sagan was never he would win some of them, but he was always top 5.
You are on crack right now.
Mark my words.
Don't
Mark my words.
Kids,
Mark my words.
don't be a Sam. This is your brain. This is your Sam on drugs. Tim Merlier, Soudal Quickstep, just to name some sprinter names. Matthew Van Der Poel has to be thrown in there. Jasper Philipsen has to be thrown in there. Obviously, that's where I think Matthew Van Der Poel is going to be putting it, as he always does, put things aside to be an instigator, to be somebody who could be a puncher later on, but not there for stage wins.
You also see Caden Groves in that team.
Yeah, you're right.
So I'd be interested to see if that is more of the lead-out man and kind of let Van Der Poel do his thing.
You have to mention Arnaud Demar. You have to mention Biniam Girmay. You have to mention Jonathan Milan, who's obviously crushing it, who was not happy with how his last national championships turned out, by the way. It was an interesting race. If you get a chance to watch the Italian national champion, spoiler alert, won by
They're not even a pro team. They're just a club.
Yeah, a club, all in white kits.
1,000 riders.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yep.
It was I just randomly turned it on this week. I'm like, I'll watch the Italian national
He
champion.
used to race for a couple of World Tour teams, and then he was out and he was doing these. He joined this club, and one of the other teammates of his that was in the finish was I think did he win or he's a contest in the Swift thing for GCN.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So I mean, yeah, they just had a pure white kit.
Yeah, it was cool. There were two of them in the break.
Yeah,
it was called the SWAT Club.
Yeah, their logo looked like a Fight Club logo too, and it was pretty cool to see. Okay, speed round. What do you think would make a successful tour for each team? Not everybody needs to comment. Maybe we could just go by each. If you're in charge of that team, what defines a successful tour? UAE.
Win.
Visma Lab.
Win.
With teamwork.
Yeah. Soudal Quickstep.
Podium.
Time trial wins.
That would be success. He had
maybe a Merlier stage.
Yeah, he'll win the first one.
Yeah. EF Education Easy Post.
Stage.
Richard Carapaz is not racing. Heartbreaker. Decathlon Eche Désert. Stage. Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe.
Podium.
Top 10.
Top 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Cofidis. Invited next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
Get into every break that doesn't succeed.
Media coverage.
Media coverage, yeah. Alpecin de Koenig.
Green jersey.
Yeah. Arkea B&B.
Same as Cofidis.
Attract sponsors for next year because I think they've lost.
Yeah, they've lost
their title sponsorships. Ineos.
Apparently green jersey.
I think stage in top 10.
Crack Sam says green jersey. Yeah.
And goodbye to Garant.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's my biggest thing is Garant.
Intermarché.
Green.
Yeah, green.
They want green again. Lidl Trek.
Green.
And probably a top 10.
With
stages, Quinn Simmons is
there. Last show he wasn't listed on the
Captain
roster,
America.
so yeah. Groupama FDJ.
Ride? I don't know.
Yeah.
They didn't bring Godou.
Get Technology band.
No, he's not riding well.
Yeah, who do they have there?
Louis Askey.
Who is that?
He's a British rider who kind of rides well in the first
Guillaume
part of
Martin.
classics.
Guillaume Martin.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot he's on the team.
Yeah, okay.
Movistar.
Be a team next year.
Enric Mas is going to try and he'll win some stages.
He'll sit on wheels.
Well, sit on wheels and get second or third. But
and he'll battle hard for 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy, I hate that shit. Picnic Post.
Stage.
Yeah. Yeko Ailula. Ben O'Connor.
They're going to want a top 10, I feel like.
Yeah.
God, I'm so bummed that
Michael.
Yeah, Bling isn't there.
I think they'll also
Groenewegen, maybe a
with,
stage with Groenewegen.
Mm-hmm.
Bahrain Victorious.
Who the hell knows?
God, they've
Mohoric. Stage.
Breakaway stage late in the
Martinez could maybe get away with something. XDS Astana.
UCI points.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're doing that. That is their strategy for the year, and it seems to be kind of working out.
Not a doping scandal.
Yeah, exactly. Lotto.
To get Delhi to have one win this year.
One win this year. Yeah. Israel Primo Tech.
Send somebody else to pasture.
I'd love to see Michael
Send
Woods
them all
do
out to
something.
pasture.
It's an old group, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's an old group. It is an old tired group. It's a retirement home. There's a Foo Fighters video out there. I think it's Run. It's called Run, and it's the Foo Fighters video, and they're all in old man makeup.
They are all old.
This is that.
Not all, but most of those guys are.
That's
old.
coming from me and Paul. Total Energy.
Keep their title sponsor for the love of God.
Yeah.
Ineos is already on that.
Bring back Sagan.
Ineos is already attracting Total Energy. Oh, shit.
Well, they're a secondary. You can't have two main, so I think they're going to stay as Total Energy
till the end of the year.
Yeah. Well, and maybe next year too.
Yeah.
Tudor Pro Cycling. That's not a bad lineup. They're all getting
Stage.
up there, but Stage. Some fireworks from Alaphilippe, from Mark Hershey, who just won the Polish national championship. Swiss national championships. Polish. I was thinking of.
Harrington and Hawaii.
No, I was thinking of
Cassiani.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, Uno X Mobility.
Also
Stage.
Stages.
Yeah,
They're animators. They get to play some fun animators.
Do you see that thing about that team where they only have 4 first names in their whole team?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So in their whole lineup, out of all of the teams, there's only 4 separate first names.
Okay.
For who?
It must be like first and middle names, kind of a thing like that.
Yeah.
Because you got Magnus Court. Magnus might have a name before Magnus or after Magnus.
Well, like
There
there's
is
like
one.
multiple Magnuses. There's multiple like Jonases or Tobiases or
Andreas.
Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, here we go. Now, this is not the competition, but I want you to pick your top 3 podium contenders. Jackson.
Top 3 podium contenders are Tadej Pogacar, Jonas Vingegaard, and honestly probably Remco Evenepoel.
Okay. Anybody straying from that?
Me.
Paul is.
I've got Roglic. As opposed to Remco just blows up.
Yeah, it's tough to say, but also Primoz hits the ground.
He does.
Like it's a total 50-50 toss-up on who's going to either blow up or hit the ground.
Yeah.
He does.
It's hard to argue with somebody who's won the Vuelta 4 times, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If luck goes his way, he hasn't.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I'm agreeing with Paul's podium. Anybody, David?
I agree with Jackson.
I think I'm going to take Jackson.
You guys are going with Remco. Okay. Green jersey.
1 or 3.
I want to see
One.
Biniam Girmay again.
I would
just
love
want
to see Girmay again,
Like,
but I don't think it's going to happen. Wout, yeah.
I think Jonathan Milan.
I do too.
I think
I
Wout's
lean
going to be
towards
too
Jonathan.
busy.
I think Milan has the capabilities of going over some lumps and bumps, but then when he hits that finale, it is like a cannon out of a rocket.
He's
It is
got
unbelievable.
fucking mile.
Yeah.
You know,
And
like
he bobs that head so intensely.
Yeah.
It's like you think he's going to break the frame.
You know what's crazy is
Yeah.
you watch people sprint and usually it's tossing the bike side to side. His bike stays straight ahead and it's just his head just
It's like a sewing machine.
Yeah.
Sewing
It's
machine.
it is insane.
Yeah.
Will the climber's jersey be won by an actual earner, or will it just be somebody else who's wearing it because Tadej?
It will be Jonas,
It will be one of the 2
whether or not Jonas wins.
top 3 podiums. Okay. Our official tour fantasy game. This is how we're doing the competition this year. So, David, there is a deadline here. I'm taking a moment to make eye contact with you.
I do well with deadlines.
Okay, we have a deadline, and our official tour fantasy game. We are league number 44726. Once again, 44726. You could look it up as just on the Packfiller. Each of us needs to sign up because of the 5 of us, whoever has the lowest points must
Wear
do
the white
something.
kit.
I threw away those shorts.
Good for you.
Because they were a window to
Because
what
they
religion
were
I was.
No longer white.
Yes. No, they were white. I didn't shit myself. But somebody's going to have to do the punishment. But it's funny that every year, usually, we all do the punishment together. But somebody has to. I do have the jersey still, though. So we're going to have to do that. So everybody has to sign up, as the contest will be in plain view. So all the listeners will know, and we won't have to rely on some incredibly brilliant listener to put together the statistics for us every year because we get the points wrong. How are you guys going to watch? What's your strategy?
In person.
Live in the mornings?
No,
fuck,
there.
you guys are going. Now tell me about that trip. What days are you going to be there?
We're going to be there for Mont Ventoux is the first day. And then
what date?
That's the stage 16.
Yeah.
It's on the 22nd.
It's Wednesday.
And then we'll be there stage 16, 17, 18. And then debatable if it's 19.
So are you going to the stage 18? That's the Queen stage.
Yeah.
That is a major, major stage.
Oh my God, you're there the last week.
Yeah.
That's
Holy shit burgers. Okay, that's going to be really good.
In the Alps. It's going to be dope.
Hey, we should get like a Speedo with Packfiller on the cheeks.
Can I get a Speedo with your face on
the
my
crotch,
butt cheeks?
and then,
or on the crotch.
And then...
Well, it should be on the butt cheeks, so then when you fart, my cheeks puff out.
Oh, I love that.
No, you guys have to take the flag.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everybody needs to... You got to get on camera with the flag.
I can make that happen.
You fail that, you're never invited back in the bar again.
That's fair.
If you take someone
That's a
out,
crime.
you cannot come back to this bar.
Yeah,
Okay, well, that is also...
Don't crash somebody else.
Yeah,
That's
with the flag.
Yeah, it would be horrible.
Yeah.
We would have a lot of listeners.
Yeah. Don't dress in a syringe costume and run
No.
alongside any athletes or anything like that. But so if you
No,
guys
it'd be a Borat
if you guys found the Speedos and got them ordered, I would happily pay for them.
With your face.
Your wives will allow you to sit on the side of the road.
The logo on the dick.
Oh, our
logo on the dick and
Yep.
my face on the back.
I can make that happen.
My wife would love it if I wore that.
Yeah, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That'd be terrible. That'd be horrible. Paul, how are you gonna watch? You gonna do live?
I will always do live.
Are you VPNing?
Yes, I will do
You are.
that through Flow Bikes because I can't handle a peacock.
Christian?
Yeah.
Christian?
Yeah.
I don't mean to bash Bob.
Well, and
Bob's
it's not
a
even,
great fucking guy.
Well, it's not even that. It's like all the there's all the banners all over, and there's like all this information all over. I just want to freaking I don't mind a little banner down below, but for some reason Peacock has like these little arrows that's so and so at this time.
Yeah.
And there's
GCN
something over
was
here
so
and some
much
kind
better.
of fact, and it's
Which
was.
Max now took most of them.
Max / TNT.
Yep.
Is that where you're getting that's
No,
your
it'll
feed
come
you're
from
getting
Flow.
through? Yeah, it's
Flow
going to come
Bikes.
from Flow.
because
And
Max
can't
can't
watch,
have it.
I can't watch Flow Bikes.
Yeah.
I can't do it unless I'm absolutely have to.
Yeah, I also can't watch Flow Bikes because my Flow Bike subscription is to my house, which means the second that you do any sort of VPN, they're like, you're not in your area. You're not allowed to watch.
Dicks.
So, never works for me.
Huh.
I'm sorry. They're just dicks.
Really?
Yeah.
I never have that problem because I watch it. This sounds terrible. Sometimes if it runs late while I'm at work driving around, I'm just off my phone.
Just off your phone.
Yeah, it's off
Yeah.
my phone.
Because I've tried it before, and it'll be like, nope, we don't.
If you
let
have
do it.
two of them on the same time, they'll cancel it.
Yeah.
So
no.
that's a problem. I'll have it on my TV, and then I'm going to take my morning Constitution.
Yeah.
And I'll put it on my iPad, and it shuts down.
Fucking.
And it's like, come on.
I miss GCN.
I do too.
Yeah. that
The
was-
one-stop
Come back.
shop.
I'll pay 3 times the amount.
I will say sometimes, and this is nothing against the commentary, but Christian and Bob know that they're preaching to a potentially uneducated choir, and they need to kind of sometimes, to an extent, dumb it down. I think we talk about this every year. There are sometimes, however, during midweek stages, though, they'll switch to Jez Cox or somebody else who just covers the stage and does it by themselves. So that's
got to
kinda
be
nice bonus.
network that controls that. They're trying to get new people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cyclists watch. You're gonna always get cyclists to watch the Tour de France.
Yeah.
Even somebody who's like meh for me on the Tour de France, but I will always watch.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do is grab new people. So therefore, Christian and Bob are perfect because they can educate people.
They bring it to an American audience. They do
exactly.
it very well.
What they did for the Dauphiné?
Yeah.
Was like the first couple of stages were Bob and Christian, and then it switched to Carlton Kirby.
It was weekend days. It was weekends that it was Bob and Christian, then Carlton Kirby midweek.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, cool. No offense. God, again,
well, then
I can't bash fellow American.
That makes sense though, because that's when the average Joe's not going to watch the tour in the midweek.
Yeah.
You get the new people. New people are going to catch it because they Unchained on the weekends. They're not going to be like us.
Comes out tomorrow.
Oh shit, that starts tomorrow, doesn't it?
Well,
the last one.
No.
Oh, the way last one. The way I equate this whole commentary situation is like, if you watch soccer with an American announcer or you watch American football with a British announcer, it's just not the same.
Doesn't add up.
It's not the dialect either. It's just
the words they use is not perfect. It's not right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Yeah. I get it. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to be Jackson. By the way, I promise on our week-long camping trip, I will find a way to make sure internet connection is proper and coffee and the stage will be on every day.
I appreciate that.
That
I also might
weekend
need it for some
is going to
homework.
be boring as hell.
Is it
for the stage? Yeah, there's on the Sunday. It's like the longest flat stage. It's the longest stage of it.
Oh yeah.
So
and
that
then
if you
Bastille
guys don't
Day.
get Bastille Day would be
I
interesting.
really should have given credit to whoever made this graphic because this is actually a really good graphic, and I pirated. Okay, made by Cycling Yaz, just Cycling YAZZ. I took it off of their Instagram, I think.
Toilet and prepare.
Yeah, they scored each day, and I like it. For example, on those days, the 12th and the 13th, they gave it a watch score of 2 out of 10. So okay, that's good to know. But then that next week, shit kicks in. And I hate Mondays. I hate Mondays during the tour. Wait, there's a rest day on Tuesday?
Yeah, because it's
Bastille Day is on Monday.
Yeah, they have to ride on
Yeah,
Bastille.
you have to.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Even though, wow. I mean, then you have a rest day, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stages, and then another rest day.
Yeah.
That's pretty unheard of.
I hate rest days.
Yeah.
I also hate the last week of the tour because I don't know why. And this is, I know I'm embracing my pessimism, but when the tour's over, summer's over for me. Even though it's like still July, I'm just like, that's it. Might as well go buy school.
I'm
back to school
for
shit.
the 21st rest day, right? The second rest day in the tour, because we're going to be there, and I'm going to try to find as many of those teams and ride with them.
You guys, I should actually require you guys to send me like a daily something so we can post it to the socials.
Okay.
Like homework?
Yeah.
Like homework?
Yeah.
How well did that work for Tour de Bloom when you gave us an assignment?
We did
Not
I
one.
did it.
You guys
won.
I did it.
Yeah, kinda.
I recorded it.
I've got it. I'm still going through all that footage.
Yeah. See, because I was in the race for so long because I did it.
Yeah. It's really hard to put together a documentary that ends successfully.
Yeah.
You guys, okay, so there we go, and we all have to fill out our fantasy teams, and the individual with the lowest points has to do something, and we have to figure out what that is.
Turn it over to the listeners.
Let's put a pin in that.
Hang on. I've had a couple beers. Turn it over to the listeners. Let them choose my fate.
We will take suggestions. We have nice listeners.
Yeah.
Although from what I hear, they all talk to you guys more than they talk to me.
Yeah.
Nobody approaches
because-
me and says I listen to the show.
It's the way I've set your character up about the grocery store.
Yeah.
Oh, they all think I'm just ignoring him. And
it's just like you don't like being.
So
bothered.
this, what I'm doing now, is the act.
Uh-huh.
What I am in person is just a don't fucking talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what
Curmudgeon-y.
Am I?
Curmudgeon-y.
I'll set the record straight. The last time I saw you at the store, you made an effort.
He said hi to you.
Yeah, he bragged.
I
about
was
it.
checking out self-check, which I hate, but I have only a short span of time on my break.
Yeah.
And the lines were long, and I hear, "Hey!" I said, "Hi." I said, "Hey, how you doing? See ya." I mean, he just made a point.
Wasn't that short, fucker? By the way, I found the French. I finally found the French music. Yeah, there we
good,
go.
good.
So,
That's what matters.
fuck.
Where's the au revoir?
That's at the end of another trailer. So that brings us time to our segments, which is sponsored by thanks to you, our listeners. Our Patreon is up and on the homepage. Thanks to many of you. We're not only to keep the lights on, but beer flowing throughout the conversation. I can't believe I've been doing this fucking show since 1999. If you'd like to help support the show, be sure to check out the Patreon. We have some really nice people who are doing that, and I promised to give some perks. The other day I put the show, the unedited show up, which means the green room, when we just started rolling right at the beginning. I posted that, and sometimes we say some highly incriminating stuff, that could get us all fired. And so I posted it. It's out there. It's on the internet.
Thank you.
I'm kidding. Nothing bad was out
I was going to say, great. I'm like this far from
retirement,
and you're going to get me.
I mean, you just told everybody you watch the tour while you drive.
No, it's listening.
Well, it's
I'm listening.
Active listen.
And I look down before I go do my inspection.
Yeah, fair enough.
And I spend a lot of time on my inspection. I make sure I don't hurry back to catch the fish.
Speaking of which, since we got you, it is time for Changing Times with Paul Main. Last week it was Know Yourself, right? Mm-hmm. This week it is Know the Others. I love the themes. I love that you give me a title for your segments.
Yeah. So last week, you have to be true about yourself. Are you a sprinter? Blah, blah, blah. Work on your weaknesses. Blah, blah, blah. This one, once you've kind of determined what your strengths are in racing, and it takes a while. I think that we get into bike racing thinking, oh, I want to be like Tade. Everybody wants to be like Tade. Not everybody's a Tade. Not everybody's Matthew Vanderpool. Not everybody's like, it could be anybody, even local. Yeah. You have your special talents, and you got to use and recognize those are good, and you have to guard your weaknesses. And the same token is, once you figure that out, to me, the stages, at least when I learned, okay, I'm never going to win up Mount Spokane, ever. It's not going to happen. So, once you're racing, or even if it's group rides, and we used to do the breakfast ride here in Spokane, and it was just about 20 miles to Cheney.
Yeah.
And I had a 2-year reign, because I knew everybody. I knew the weakness. I knew the course. Weakness of others. So knowing the others is the point, is that I had to play my strengths against their weaknesses and not expose my weaknesses to their strengths. And that, when I got to that point, is like all of a sudden the light bulb came on, and I really enjoyed cycling. And I think that if people realize that, it's not just put your head down. It's like, hey, it's getting slow. I'm going to go now. It doesn't work that way. Sometimes it does, but you can.
Squirrel!
But
attack my brother!
But sometimes it does. I mean, there's people with natural talent that, man, I've come across them that I'm thinking, there's no way you can stop that guy, and that's like Tade.
Yeah.
It takes teamwork, but that's part of the fun, is figuring out how your team or a group of people, we got to thwart this guy. How are we going to do this? So know the others. Know their weaknesses, too, and know their strengths, and do not play up to their strengths.
And you're saying, because you have to almost feel that out as the race progresses, because there might be, you show up at a race and you don't know anybody.
Yeah, and I've used, to me, there's other sports. In baseball, there's all kinds of setups. The thing is, pitchers will have tells. It's just human nature that whatever you're good at, what you're going to do, you don't realize it, but you kind of tell everybody you're going to do that.
Yeah.
And that's the artistry of racing, to me, is getting to know that person. That's why the more races you do, in my opinion, is the better you're going to get, and knowing your opponent. And then all of a sudden you're like, hey, he likes these punchy climbs.
Yeah.
I'm getting on his wheel. He's going to, and it saves so much energy. Is like, oh shit, there he goes. I mean, you already know, that type of thing. So, I think it makes it fun. I think racing is so dimensional. I mean, even your strength can be your weakness if you're feeling bad, and you got to learn to figure out how you're going to save that. You can only blast so many times, that type of thing. So, anyway, that's that.
So many matches.
Yeah. Only one for me.
I ran.
God, I'm running short too. Yeah, I am running short on those. All right, our next segment is, of course, beep 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 beep. No, we're doing Dr. David. Sam, I'm saving.
It's so cool.
His.
Yeah.
The curtain pull. The curtain pull is good.
It's good.
How many times has anybody seen a pro cyclist applying sunblock?
0. Before, during the race or before?
Period.
Oh, well, I see.
Well, we don't get inside there.
Yeah, I hardly ever see that.
The bus.
And I was thinking about that when I was out, by the way.
Oh, nice.
It's not as good as it was the other day because
Oh, it's red.
Yeah. I applied sunblock.
You left it out the night before.
What?
You had put it out the night before. You had like your own little
I am a
this
very
is what I'm getting.
pale human being.
Yeah.
If I don't, I will just halfway
You
through the
were
day just go,
prepared.
burst into ash.
Yeah.
It's like, God, I'm a little hot. Obviously dehydrated. Pat just puffed. Joking aside, this is a very serious matter. Dealing with the sun and the fact that you look at 99.999% of sunblock manufacturers, they say it's sweat-proof, waterproof for 80 minutes, or it must be reapplied so many blah blah blah. I was out at Belgian Waffle for fucking 7 hours. How are we supposed to do this?
Yeah.
Doc?
Well, what are we gonna do versus what are we supposed to do are going to be different here.
Okay.
What are you supposed to do? Find a good sunscreen that works well with your body, maybe zinc containing, and apply it every 2 to 4 hours. So do it as close to the race as you can. Don't be liberal with it. Don't be shy. Get all of the sun exposed areas, and then honestly, like if what we should be doing, especially when we're talking about racing for fun, is you really should be after 2 to 4 hours, depending on which sunscreen you're using, you should be reapplying.
Yeah.
And how many of us are doing that? Probably 0.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever seen somebody during a race put sunscreen on.
Hey guys, hold up. Yeah. Got to get a little sun bum.
So I think it's a risk modification. So how often you're doing this? There are other things you can do, like you can wear sleeves, UV blocking sleeves. A little harder when it's like 90 degrees out.
Yeah.
You can carry like a small amount of sunscreen with you and focus on the more sun exposed parts, like the back of your neck, the back of your ears, the nose, bridge of the nose, and your arms. Those definitely get hit harder with sun. And I think people need to be mindful of their own skin cancer risk. This is coming from a ginger of Irish roots with pale skin. Like, I just lather it up before a race, and I really try not to be out there more than 4 hours. This was what?
That's why you guys rode so fast.
Because I didn't want to
David's
burn.
like, I'm gonna burn.
Yeah. I'm burning up here in the sun as a ginger. So, I don't follow my own advice here, but really, like, we should probably halfway through the race be putting sunscreen back on.
I wonder if that zinc stuff like lasts longer, because it's like the mineral doesn't really. I mean, if you get like that stuff leaves you pale white.
Well, you think about Hawaii, where we never showered, and we just kept putting it on, and never got
it's
burned.
a layer action. Yeah,
it's like just layer after layer.
It's like you're an old window.
Yeah. But it's unfortunate, I think, in cycling in particular, because there really isn't a time to put it on. We really should be doing it. I mean, the more sunburns you're exposed to in your life, the higher your risk is of skin cancers.
Oh, I'm 3 away from losing my nose. I'm 3 away from looking like Voldemort.
Yeah.
The real Voldemort. It's like,
I mean, you will see people out here who have had skin cancers that will ride in 90 degree heat with those white UV blocking.
Yeah.
Because they know how important it is. Yeah. And really, how practical is it to carry around sunscreen? Unfortunately, it's not. Maybe it's something that promoters should be carrying at an aid station, to be honest. Like,
that'd be a cool sponsor actually concept for some of these longer gravel races where people are doing
especially this one. I mean, people out there for greater than 4 hours, which was almost everybody.
Yeah.
Like
it's very exposed.
Yeah.
That was
Literally
an exposed race.
No trees, like Paul said.
Yeah.
So it really should be there should be a emphasis on this, but there's not. And I've never seen somebody in like the tour, put sunscreen on.
And I don't know about you guys, I was wiping my face constantly to get sweat out of my eyes. And I know I'm rubbing off the sunblock.
Soaking up the sweat.
Yeah. And then at one point in the tail end, I had banana boat in both eyes. Usually I get it in one eye. I had it in both eyes. And I was just like going, this is a really steep hill. Both eyes, I feel like Oedipus. I just want to gouge out both of my eyes. Sorry, that's a Greek tragedy reference. But I was seriously climbing a hill all by myself, and I was like, this is it. I could willingly die right now.
And also, speaking of sunscreen, now that we're talking about it, I went to the dermatologist 2 weeks ago, and she said that anything up to 30 is perfect. Anything above that, it's just a number.
It's a lie, right?
Yeah, it's all just a number at that point.
It's like IPA.
The 70...
IPAs are the IBUs.
IBUs.
So the 70 that you have is just a number.
No, I buy 30.
That Neutrogena 70 that you brought to the 24-hour...
Was it?
Yeah, it was 70.
I'm as high of a number as you can get.
Yeah, what Neutrogena 70 is like you spray it and a coat pops out.
You burn the sun, actually, when you're putting that on.
Fuck you!
Yeah.
I'll show you.
Yeah.
Take that, son.
I was going to make a comment on it that really all you need is SPF 30. Okay. Everything after that's kind of like...
Yeah, it's IBUs and IPAs.
Exactly.
After, I think it's like 80. Seriously. Your taste bud, it goes to
just
dead.
Numbs you.
Yeah. You can't taste the difference between 80 and 100 and whatever.
I can taste it.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
I can taste it.
Yeah.
Man, a good Heffy.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Man, I had some Hell's Loggers.
If you put a little orange wedge on the edge of the glass, it just tastes
different than
so much better.
Proper Hefeweizen.
Oh, everybody in my law firm is drinking this these days. It's delicious.
Yeah, if you put fruit in beer, you are wrong. You'll be killed in Germany.
I agree. You should be.
Yeah.
That's not a Hefeweizen.
No, it isn't.
That's a Shandy.
Yeah.
It's different. And those are also delicious.
When the Windmere Hefeweizen first came out, everybody's putting
terrible.
it wasn't orange. What was it? Was
lemon,
it
I think.
I think it was a lemon on the side.
Yeah, that is the worst tasting.
Have you had this beer? It's made with wheat. It's delicious.
Yeah, I don't like any American
nasty.
Heffy.
No, we're not good. Sam with Fit Tips. Brought to us by Ambassador Cycling, ambassadorcycling.com. Be sure and check out. He has a website.
Let me know.
Dude, and by the way, you sponsored the weekly road series and things like that, and you deserve kudos for that, man.
Thank you.
You're keeping bike racing fucking going, and that was... Thanks, man.
I mean, I try to contribute to as much of like the local race scene as I can, just because it's so critical to keep it alive. I mean, it takes sponsors to keep that going. So however I can contribute, I'm always more than happy to step in.
Do you think they would take like a sponsor by David?
Dude, let's try.
What would you give them?
I don't know.
What are they?
Let's come up with a custom logo, Dr. Dave.
Yeah, sunscreen.
Yeah, sunscreen. There we
Yeah.
go. But you don't have a sunscreen.
I'll make my own.
China. For sure. Order it.
Just churn it like butter. It's the same stuff.
AliExpress.
Shimmy butter.
AliExpress. Although you get a goiter after you use
exactly.
a tin of-
I was thinking of helping, but I don't have anything to give other than like swag, and people don't want my logo.
Why?
I don't know.
I think that like if you gave that out as a preem or something like that,
Preems,
like,
yeah, not like as a sponsor.
Yeah, but I'm sure they would still do it as a sponsor. You know.
Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
By the way, Paul's sporting the cool shirt these days.
I know.
Paul's sporting the newest of our swag.
Those are cool.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Sam, what do you got for us this week?
So my thing is actually personal because I got rocked on it this weekend with having too much tire pressure. So tire pressure.
What did you run?
Yeah, who the hell knows? This guy rolls up to me at the start line it was so weird.
What size tire did you run first?
45.
Okay.
And ideal.
I was 42s.
Yep, I think anywhere in the 40s is ideal. David, 45s.
45.
Yeah.
Great.
So I just didn't check my tire pressure literally one time. And that was entirely on me. But this guy rolls up at the front, and I'm talking with David, and I feel somebody grab my bike, and I look over, and he just goes, "Oh, I just wanted to check your PSI." I was like,
that is a fucking
it was
violation.
Weird. I was like,
space violation.
It's like a reach around.
It is.
It was weird. I was
I
like,
did not get permission.
I was like,
my eyes are up here, fucker.
Okay. I'm not the right person to check with. I haven't looked at my PSI. And he goes, "Oh, I would
That's
probably
like asking
veer
to pet your dog. You
it
gotta
was.
ask.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was weird. But I was like, I probably in that moment, I'm thinking, do I actually want to be the guy that lets some PSI out right now and not knowing what it is?
Yes.
Oh. So then I was like, I should have.
Yes.
Because I was probably running 60 PSI in those tires. So
Not on that size. That's
You guys, my teeth were chattering in that race.
I just need to just add to this really quick because it was just horrible sitting there listening to some guy next to Sam bringing up tire pressure, and on my right is somebody talking about 100 grams of carbs in each bottle.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm
yeah.
You know, and then
The
in front of
nerd
me,
out, yeah.
In front of me is a lady with a CGM on her arm. And I was like, "Fuck all of this! Like, this is not what I like about bike racing. PSA on my left, carbs on my right, a CGM in front of me. Like, what in the?
This is gravel.
Yeah,
yeah.
But okay.
What's the CGM?
the continuous glucose monitor
yeah.
that I think is not allowed.
That was
things
a-
on your elbow.
yeah, that was a question.
Now,
Few
unless,
episodes
did
ago.
you say,
Yeah.
are you
Went back.
diabetic? Did you ask her?
No, but I looked for a pump and I didn't see one.
No, well,
Yeah. and-
Cheater.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I doubt she's out there using her pin.
No
or
rules, man.
something.
It's gravel. You can do
No
it.
rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
it's-
drug testing.
It is true. It's one of those things where it's like, having no rules is a little tough. And but back to the PSI part is, man, that is such a crucial part of comfort. Like, if your bike is totally dialed, everything is absolutely set. Like, my bike was really well dialed. I ruined it with PSI because I had way too much pressure. And you can do that in any discipline. I mean, like on my road tires, right? Like depending upon tubeless or, tubular, whatever. Like if you look up the Silka app, which I know you know about, and I'm sure everybody here knows about, but I think you told me about it just because, and pointing at Paul. I think that that is the best app. If you look at that, go on the website. Is the website?
It's on their website. Then you can download a kind of a link to it for your phone, and it asks your email every time. So which means they're just collecting data. But fuck it,
who cares?
Yeah.
Honestly, go to that and look up. Type in your tire. Type in the road surface that you're going to be on.
Size tire.
Yeah, follow that. It is so critical because that would have actually probably made the biggest difference on Sunday's outcome for me personally, because there was multiple times in the race where I'm like, this feels like I am getting knocked all around, and
Like the single track.
Oh my god. I was going over a few of the tiny little rolls, and I did bucked, and I'm like, I'm flying. So anyway, I would look into it's the simplest thing to do. Silka app, look it up. It's going to make a world of difference for whatever you're riding.
I will also say that I ran 45. I should have run 40. But my little portable little guy has a digital readout gauge, and it's pretty goddamn accurate, and I can set the pressure, and I knew I was at 45.
I need to buy that thing.
It's a great little freaking pump.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, David, you were going to say something?
Yeah. No, I forgot.
That's fair enough.
Well, let's run to the cool down with the master himself, Jackson Bolger. He always has a fun kind of a question based, or just something for us to think about.
It is question based. So yesterday I got home from a little trip with my wife over to Sandpoint, Idaho. It was really nice. And we got home, I would say earlier midday, and I was kind of antsy, and so I was like, I'll go clean out my car, because I've been watching all these camping videos. I want to get ready. We're going to camp here pretty soon in it anyways. I really came to find out that I am the prepared person in most situations. I'm thinking of when we were in Wenatchee. David, you asked for a knife. Did I have a knife? Yes, I did.
Did you get in a knife fight, David?
Yeah, that's what I needed it for.
You had a knife for me too when we were in RC3.
I said, "Hang on, sir. Let me ask my friend for a knife, and then we will commence."
Yeah. Let me pull it out of this multi-tool real quick.
It's rusty as hell.
It's super rusty.
You will get tetanus.
Yeah. But I've got 2 flashlights. I've got 2 bike locks. I've got all this shit in my car that is just... I have 3 koozies. When am I ever going to need 3 beer koozies? But I've got them. Yeah. Anyways, and it got me thinking about how prepared I am when it comes to a ride scenario. And so, I mean, I'm the guy who's carrying around a CO2 and the adapter for it. And then I also have a pump in my pocket. I carry my wallet. I carry chapstick. I carry all this shit. I carry a full multi-tool. A chain breaker is on it. Yeah. But my question was, how prepared are you? And what's in your pockets? Because I did watch another NorCal cycling video. They went through their pockets from right to left, and I'm going to ask you the same thing. How do you configure your pockets?
Oh,
because I think that's pretty personal.
Okay.
Because on my right side, for instance, I have all my gels and nutrition, but we have a little zipper pocket in our jerseys, and I take my wallet off my phone and I put it in there, and then I zip that up. In the middle is the phone, and on the left is chapstick. Has to, or it's not a good ride.
Oh my God!
I always do.
It's melted if you have to pull it out.
It's not ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are you running?
What am I? It's Burt's Bees.
It's gotta
there
be
it
Burt's
is.
Bees.
Yeah.
Burt's Bees.
And
That's our next
I
sponsor.
use it frequently.
By the way, Burt's Bees, you fuckers,
Hit us up.
Please.
come on board.
Please.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
Be a part of that. I shouldn't have called them fuckers.
Yeah. Jackson just went through his first full
Yeah, that
stick.
helps.
That's a mile.
Fuckers is a term of endearment. With
Yeah.
me.
Oh, yeah.
I use chapstick so religiously that I actually have it fall out like a glue stick that's been used.
Really.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's like a necessary thing on my rides.
So the question.
So yes, sorry. So Sam, start from right to left. How do you do your pockets?
Yeah, so I'm going to run my cell phone on the right. Depending upon if it's a race, I would also then put food, like gels, in my right, and then empty center. If it's
So you're reaching into a pocket with grabbing food that could potentially pull out your phone and leave it dancing onto the side.
Yeah,
Idiot.
I don't feel bad about that because like I've never had
It's
a
not
scenario.
an Apple phone, so
Yeah, that's true.
I've never had a
Apple.
scenario where I've like pulled out my phone with a gel.
Okay.
But like I don't want to get a leftover gel on my phone. So then it's like the center pocket is all the trash.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, and then like the left side would be like the more solid foods, gummies or bars or things like that.
So you have a dedicated like trash pocket.
Yeah.
See, I always have to kind of shuffle through to see what's full and what's not.
See,
Yeah.
don't want to waste
Just
time
how
with
it
that.
goes. I'm really careful about my phone though on rides.
Yeah,
I turn
that's
it
fair.
a certain way so the camera or so the screen doesn't face. Like I'm.
Oh yeah, no,
particular.
never thought about that.
Yeah. Paul, how do you run?
Phone and money in a scratch bag. It's
Yeah.
a sealed bag on my right pocket. Center one, because I don't have a saddle bag. It's an old
Tubular
sock.
tube.
Yeah.
No, I don't. Tubulars actually go under the saddle. It's the only thing that goes under the saddle.
And they have to be wrapped appropriately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly with a toe strap.
Yep.
So, I have a tube.
Don't
and
don't roll your eyes at me. God damn it, Sam. You don't understand.
Jesus.
That's right. I don't train on tubulars anymore. So,
Yeah.
so what I have is my spare tube, my new silica mini pump, and I have a small little tool with Phillips.
By the way,
Allen
silica.
size.
You fuckers.
Wait, pause. I'd actually just hit. So wait, is it silica?
Silica.
Silica.
Oh, I said silica.
Silica.
I thought you said silica.
I
was
probably
like,
did.
I was
might
like,
have.
oh my God.
Silica.
What have I been saying?
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
So I have that pump with a little tool. I used to have CO2, but that's gone, and that's in a sock. And if I ever carry any food, it goes in there too. That's my trash, my middle one.
Okay.
It's easy to grab. And then on the left side, because I'm old and blind, I have my spare
Readers.
glasses.
Glasses.
My
Oh
readers.
my
Yeah.
God.
And then
This
and
is
then
why
I
he
put
doesn't
my
have his
Wahoo.
computer. Yeah,
Yeah.
his Wahoo
yeah.
is
It
in
goes
his
in the
jersey.
left-hand
Yeah,
side.
he doesn't put it on his bars because
Yeah.
he can't see
What
it.
does it matter if I have it on the bars? I've just got this little apparatus that's hanging out
Can't
there.
read it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the
Screw
point?
that.
Yeah.
I just
You're
turn
just
it.
going to be like my grandparents, so we can just like zoom it in so it only says
I'm probably
the
almost
one
old
thing
enough to
you
be
care
your
about.
grandparent. That's
You
Yeah.
can. You can to a point where you have like 2 things.
What matters the most? You want to know your MP
speed?
Yeah.
No, I the only reason I have it is as I got older with Strava, because there's certain segments and stuff, and I'm thinking, we really tore it up, and then I measure it. I use that for my records. From
so we just need to get a timer on there. That's all he cares about.
Yeah.
Timer, and I do use it now with the wheel set that I have. It has a power tap in it, the two-wheeler set of wheels. God. That's how I know, like, see if I'm wasting energy.
Dropping off the rails, David. What's in your what is in your jerseys?
Right pocket. Typically, I'll put food. Middle pocket, cell phone. If I'm wearing a vest or a jacket and I have to take it off, or arm warmers, clothing goes in the middle pocket. Left pocket has tube, and then CO2 and an iron, a tire iron. I always forget my multi-tool. And then as garbage approaches, like if you eat food, you put the garbage in with the tube, so that you don't get any slime on everything.
Gotcha.
This is going to be a long one with him.
I overpack.
Mm-hmm.
I have it under the saddlebag. Always do. It has tube. It has a multi-tool. It has cash in it. So if anybody wants to bump me off, you get $5. It's got a patch kit and it's got a CO2 in it. So
patch kit.
Yeah, an old school patch kit, tube patch kit. Tiny little
never
thing.
see a patch
Often
kit.
was used.
I have one.
When was the last time you used it?
I bet it would burst into dust.
Yeah.
Just like
as you opened it, it would just
another. Left, I put tools. I put. Actually, that is now where I put my little new pump and then a second tube. I carry 2 tubes with me almost every time I go.
Wow.
You have a patch kit.
You never
2
know.
tubes.
Shit could go down, bro.
Tubes
the world could come to an end, and you guys are going to come to me, and you're going to go like, Pat, the zombies are chasing me. The zombies are chasing me, Pat. I need a tube. And I'm going to be like, fuck you, man.
By then, you would have gone through
been prepared.
1, 2, 3, 4 tubes.
Yeah.
Yes.
5 tubes.
No, my tubes are my tubes. You guys just suck it.
Noted.
So tools are always in the left pocket. Center is usually my cell because I want it to be balanced. The heaviest thing is usually my cell, and I don't like it when my jersey bounces back and forth.
Yeah.
And food goes in the right because usually when I'm really tired, my shoulders start to hurt, and getting into the jersey is hard.
Yeah.
Although in BWR, I put my food in my center pocket.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't say handlebar bag.
No, I didn't do that. It was in the center pocket, and I put my cell phone in my right. This is my dyslexia kicking in, because that pocket in those Panache jerseys is a little bit more firm, and I didn't want my phone bouncing out.
You take your phone on?
I do.
I
did
take it on training rides,
on
but
BWR. I took my phone on BWR.
Did you guys?
I was going to be out in the middle of nowhere.
BWR, yeah.
And my
100%.
watch has cellular, just in case I needed to make a phone
Another
call.
reason
I
I'm
get
not going to do gravel
stuck
races
out-
if you need a phone.
I took my phone for Wenatchee.
Did you?
For all of the road races in Wenatchee, I
But
did.
don't you have a watch?
This is not
I think
cellular.
But it's
only
not
did
cellular. You
I think
can't place a call.
RC3 was the only one I didn't take it for.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I'll knock on a door.
My thing is, though, with wrappers, I don't put wrappers back in my jersey pocket.
Where do you put them?
I stuff them under my jersey.
Oh.
When I come home at the end of the day and unzip my jersey, all my wrappers fall out.
No way.
I just do.
You're the one that I found
boom.
all those wrappers on.
No,
this.
I don't. They don't fall out because I'm a full-figured man.
You know?
And they're not. No, they never do. I just go whoop right up the
Sticky.
jersey, or
But
in
then
the
you're
tool
all
bag. I just shove them in there.
sticky.
I don't get sticky. I glisten.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's what I do. Well, I eat the gel. I don't just go just a sample and let it all spill all
in
over
the middle
myself.
of a race, you're like
I'm some sort of
and then just
For lack of a better term, there's a bit of discharge.
Yeah, always. And I like that. That's
There's
not-
a better term.
There
Good
isn't.
Lord.
Discharge is perfect.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you saying that. Anyways, thanks for that.
Let's roll it out.
We're gonna end it with discharge. That's the title of the show. With discharge. Gentlemen, what are your fourth plans? Jackson.
Brother-in-law's house. Shoot off $500 worth of fireworks.
I will be floating a river.
Riding and having a beer on your deck.
That's my plan.
Oh yeah.
ride, Float River, barbecue.
You guys gonna ride?
Sure, we can ride.
Yeah, you two finally got a ride with us.
Morning ride.
Okay. Yeah.
Morning-ish ride, so we can still justify coming back to the house and having a beer.
Yeah, we can't float until like noon anyway.
There we go. You guys have a great week. It was so great having everybody back. It was so great, having my wife's travel agency. She's growing. It's on its way up.
Yeah.
She's doing great. It's your fault.
She's fostering the
You know what?
grassroots
It should be
movement.
my fault. The grassroots movement. VRB don't.
Yes.
Thanks, you guys, and we will catch you next week.
Thank you.